my mind over other people.
Come on now.
It may be messy. I may have a lot going on, but I'm still going to make myself a priority.
Absolutely.
I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I am a business owner. I have a full-time job. I am in ministry. But guess what?
Yeah.
I can't manage it all.
'Cause you're so strong. I wanna be so strong. I wanna be just like you. I wanna be just like you. When I grow old. When I grow old.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Becoming Brittany Podcast. It's your girl and host, Brittany Morton, and as always, y'all, I am so excited that you have decided to tune in with me. Guess what, y'all? This is season 2 of the podcast. Yes, right, we made it to season 2. It's like getting kind of official over here. You know, your girl's getting seasons and such. But y'all, thank you for rocking with me. We're going to be bringing you all more episodes, more real life, more transformation. You all know that my goal here on this podcast is for this to be a safe space. I really wanted to create a platform where I could have conversations with you the way I wish somebody would have had some conversations with me, okay? The goal is for us to grow, to become, to learn, to embrace everything about who God has created us to be, and just to be bomb, right? And so I'm looking forward to this season, because this season, guess what, y'all? I have special guests, and I'm very excited. Y'all know I've been telling you all how I've been waiting to have guests on my podcast, because I love to talk and I love to interview people. So we are here, and I am so excited to have my sister and my friend with me today. I guess I should tell them the name of this episode and then introduce you. Okay. So y'all, the name of this episode is Embracing the Mess. Embracing the Mess. And my first guest ever is, drum roll please, Miss Ty. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. But let me say that I am completely honored.
Oh,
I have been listening to first season. I loved it. And to be a guest.
Thank you so much.
On your first.
Yes, you're my first guest.
To be your first
girl.
guest. Like, I'm honored.
You know, I was thinking about who I typically just normally have amazing conversations with, and our brunch talks are always
the best,
the bomb. And I just sometimes be like, I just feel like other people need to hear the stuff we talk about, because I believe it can help some other people. So we bring in brunch to y'all today, okay?
That's what we do.
So I love Ty, y'all. Ty is a wife. She is a mother. She is just a real boss. Like, you know how some people say they're a boss, but this lady has her own business. She runs other people's enterprises. She is a believer. She is a sister. She is a friend to me. So many different hats that you wear. But I believe that you're becoming the way I'm becoming. And so that's why I had to have you on the show today.
Okay.
Would you agree?
I'm here for it. I don't know if I agree, but
you are becoming.
I am becoming.
Absolutely.
Even becoming some of the things that I ain't necessarily ready for, but I'm becoming.
Y'all, can you relate to that? See, that's why we got you on the podcast.
Okay,
because
I'm here.
We have real conversations. And so I sent this over to you, but I was just thinking, I don't know, I was on my plane ride back, and I was thinking about this topic. It's something I thought about a few days ago, but it's embracing the mess, how to walk in the promises of God when you feel undone. How to walk in the promises of God when you feel undone. And so I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about how so many times I've ran away from the messy parts of my life, but more importantly, I've ran away from the messy parts of myself. And you are one of the people that I have witnessed. I've known you for years, but you are one of the people that I have witnessed, particularly over the last 2 years, the growth that you have experienced. And I don't even know if you fully see it, but I have seen you grow so much in these last few years. Things have been coming up. You've been dealing with stuff. You've been challenged and stretched in so many different ways in your personal development and in your womanhood and who you are as a woman of God. And so I just wanted to talk about that today, right? So that's what we are talking about. We're talking about the messy stuff. We're talking about the ugly stuff. We're talking about the stuff that we just be minding our own business and it just come up and you like, what am I supposed to do with this, right? that's what we are talking about today. So first thing I just want to kind of put out there, and I want us to kind of unpack this. One thing that I have learned in my own personal journey of becoming and growing as a woman is that growth does not happen without exposure. Let me say that again. Growth does not happen without exposure. And so if you don't want to be exposed, you're probably not ready to grow, okay? Because you cannot get one without the other. Growth happens because something has to get exposed. Something that I often hear is that you can't heal what's not revealed.
Absolutely.
And I remember when I really started going to therapy and just really started to get serious about not pointing at the finger at everybody else of what was wrong with my life and looking at myself. When I began to pull back some of those layers, I was like, I am a mess.
Absolutely.
I was like, Lord, I am a mess. And I wanted to throw everything away. I wanted to throw ministry away. I wanted to throw my life away. Because I'm like, if I'm this bad, surely nothing good can come from this.
Right.
Can you talk to me a little bit, or talk to us a little bit about how you've dealt with, as you've been growing, seeing some of those not so cute parts of you, but still showing up authentically?
Yeah, so I got a few things. Firstly, I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for the growth that we do.
Come on now.
Like, so firstly, I'm gonna pat myself on the back, right?
Here you
because
go. Here goes another pat.
I've overcome so much. I've been through so much. Secondly, I think it is so important to have community, right?
Yes.
So it's a blessing, and it's so awesome that I have people like you in my life who sometimes I think we don't see ourselves that way, but it is such a benefit to have people in our circle, in our community, to say, hey girl, I see you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your question, like, it's messy. Life be lifing.
Girl, talk
It's
to
a
me
lot
about
going
it.
on. I got a lot. Look, I wear many hats. I'm a lot of things to a lot of people. And so sometimes it's easy for us to get hard up on ourselves for not necessarily hitting the mark all the time.
Absolutely.
But for me, I'm just going to keep showing up.
Yeah.
Like, when I give it my best, when I try, that's all I can do.
Absolutely.
I give each day my best. One of the things that I do with my daughter, she's so my child, right?
Yeah.
So she's an overachiever. And so even with school, she's like, hey mom, I got a B. And she's sad about it. And I'm like, but did you give it your all?
Yeah.
Did you do your best?
Absolutely.
And if she can tell me, hey mom, I did my best, that's good enough for me.
I love that.
So I feel like, hey, every day, I take it day at a time. Like, God tells us about his daily bread. Like, I take it day
Come
at
on,
a time.
y'all. She is dropping nuggets.
Me
Okay.
figure out today. I'll worry about tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow. But if I can get through the day, if I can
Come
accomplish
on.
my task for today,
Yeah.
if I can stay committed to the things that I've promised people for today,
I love that.
hey, I'm just going to show up. And it ain't no deep answer, but I'm just going to give it my best.
I love that. And I just want to, because you just dropped a few nuggets that I think can help a lot of us. One, I love that you said you give every day your best. And what I've learned about that is every day my best looks different.
Every day.
You know, and I think sometimes, like you said, we can put so much pressure on ourselves. And other people, sometimes it's not even other people. We're putting all this pressure on ourselves. Sometimes it's like, baby, I wasn't even expecting all that. You did that and some, you know. And so I love that. And I want you all to really take that with you. It's like every day your best is going to look different. Sometimes my best is me not quitting or cussing. Sometimes my best is listening to my body and saying, you know what, today you don't need to push yourself.
Right.
Someday my best is me letting myself be vulnerable and cry and release the frustration. Some days my best is me knocking out the park and I get everything done on my to-do list, which barely happens. But you know, your best looks different every single day. I love also what you said is taking it one thing at a time. Because I think sometimes it's so easy to get overwhelmed or so consumed because we're looking at everything at one time instead of saying, okay, God, this is where we are right now. Let me be fully present in now and what God is doing in me now and what, you know, where I am. Because a lot of times I would miss the beauty of now because I was so consumed with what hadn't happened yet or things that would never happen. But I'm playing things in my mind. And so I love that you said, hey, you're giving yourself grace.
Have to.
I love that. Now, did you start that way?
Absolutely not. No, that's something I had to grow to. I used to be really hard up on myself about just trying to do everything.
Yeah.
When I got to the point where when I figured out for myself, like, hey, I can't do it all. Like, I can't show up for everybody else and not show up for myself.
Come on, girl.
So when I got that revelation, like, hey, I am going to be there for the people in my life.
Yeah.
That is just to my core, to my heart. I am a servant. I celebrate other people.
Yes.
That is who I am. I
Yeah.
will always be true to that. However, I cannot take care of me.
Yeah.
I've had to take care of me. And sometimes that look like telling people no.
Come on.
Sometimes I have to tell people no. And sometimes it's even one of those things where, you know, like, we've got to be careful about comparison too, right?
Yes, so true.
I've had to disassociate myself from people.
Oh my.
I've had to unfriend people on social media, because when you are looking at other people's lives, sometimes it's really quick for us to be like, oh, I'm not there. But but let me just, hey, y'all out there listening and watching, people are only going to show you what they want you to see.
That's so true.
So you can't look at other people's social medias and their lives on the outside and compare yourselves to them. Hey, your journey is your journey.
Absolutely. And I think we have to learn to embrace our journey. And we also have to learn to embrace our portion.
Yes.
I think that is so important, you know, because sometimes, like you said, you can look at, well, she seems like she's an amazing mom and she's doing this and doing that, but you have no idea.
No clue.
What is, you know, and so that's one thing I feel like I've made a lot of progress in. But let me just say this. I am so proud of you, because, you know, for you to answer that question with such a place of peace, like, yeah, this is what I do now, but that's not where I started.
It took me a while, but I was intentional about getting here.
Absolutely.
I was either going to get here and figure out how to get here, or I was going to lose my mind.
Girl.
And I ain't going to lose my mind over other people.
Come on now.
It may be messy. I may have a lot going on, but I'm still going to make myself a priority.
Absolutely.
I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I am a business owner. I have a full-time job. I am in ministry. But guess what?
Yeah.
I can't manage it all. And that's why I'm so grateful for God. Like, I don't understand how people live life without God. He is my sounding board.
Yeah.
He is my comfort in it all. Like, I don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's going to get messy. It's always going to be messy. Some parts are always going to be messy in our lives.
Yeah.
We'll never get to the point where we just arrive and have it all together.
Can you say that one more time? So I believe that's going to free somebody, because what I had to learn was, Brittany, you're on a journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. And you were I'm stressing out about something that doesn't exist. I'm trying to, when everything is in place, and when I get this, when I get that, and it's like, girl, that's not, like you said, it's not going to happen.
It's impossible. Like, literally, it would be easy for us to say, okay, well, I'm going to do this when.
Yeah.
So you want to have it all together. It's just not going to happen. We're never going to have it all together. But if we're being intentional about making progress, hey, I'm just going to celebrate progress right now.
Come on. And that was one of my other points that I wanted to make with you all. It's like, the goal is not perfection. Mm-hmm. The goal is progress and growth.
For sure.
And so I just want to because I know, Ty, we've talked about this, because I know I was like a severe perfectionist. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember growing up, and thank God my mom, she may not have been grace for everything, but she was grace for this. Like, I would cry. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, baby. Like, I attached my worth so much to my performance. Yeah. So much to people accepting me. Mm-hmm. I wanted everything to be a certain way. And it used to torment me that it was a sense of fear. It was a sense of control, you know. Because I felt like if I wasn't in control, then what would happen? And I had to always be prepared. And then God will put some stuff in your life that's so much bigger than you. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, well, what I'm supposed to do? Well, I got to trust God. Because I'm not going to be able to do this without him. Right. So I just want to speak to that sister, even a brother that's listening or watching us right now, that you've been putting all of this pressure on you to be perfect. That's not the goal. God's never told you that you had to be perfect. Mm-hmm. He just said, hey, I just want you to be better.
Absolutely.
I want you to be self-aware. I want you to take the lessons and the ups and the downs and continue to be committed, one, to your growth, and then two, helping other people grow.
Yeah. And I think something to that point, and this was crazy enough, I don't know if you know this, but this was a self-discovery that I found in one of our brunch talks, right?
Wow.
We were at a really good brunch and we had a conversation. And so I realized that what I thought me helping other people, I thought was for them. I thought, but I realized that there was this people pleasing thing that I was having to deal with. And so that revelation for me was a whole nother, it opened up a whole nother part of my life, because I'm like, what is it about me that I feel like I gotta help everybody?
Come on, girl. Come on now.
Like, I dug into that thing. I did some research, and I'm like, okay, so this God complex is a real thing.
It's a real
Here
thing.
I am thinking I'm just being a blessing to everybody in my life. But how about I was really enabling some folks?
Yeah.
Like,
And sometimes, and I think we talked about this in brunch, we think we're helping others, but we're trying to meet our own need. Right? We're trying to, you're helping other people, but what you're trying to do, you're secretly saying, let me do, so somebody will do for me.
And God ain't called us to do for everybody.
Absolutely not.
He has not.
And what that leads to is regret and resentment.
Definitely.
We have secret resentment for others. We have secret resentments for God, because you're like, in the back of your mind, I've been kind, I've been self-sacrificing, and you don't appreciate this. And the moment I ask you, and they're like, ma'am, I didn't even ask you to do all of this stuff. You've been trying to meet childhood wounds and your need for validation and all of that by overextending yourself for me. Absolutely. And I know I've noticed that in my friendships. I even noticed that with dating, my relationship with me. And I'm like, girl, what is going on? Because I kept like glorifying, but I'm nice and I'm kind and I'm a good person, but you're manipulative, because you're saying you love people, but when they don't respond the way you want them to respond, you feel in some type of way and you want to retract. No, that's not love, that's manipulation.
Absolutely.
And I had to realize that, and it was the next word, it was humbling. There's been a lot, I believe a lot of us, what we've been experiencing is God is trying to humble us.
Yeah.
Because one thing that can happen when you're really good at what you do, and when you're really gifted and you're the one that everybody goes to, and you're the savior and you're the fix-it, pride can live real strong in your life. And because you don't want it everybody count on, you don't even realize that you're living in pride.
Yeah.
And you are.
And I think that's to the point of being exposed.
Yes.
Because some things have to be exposed in us for us to address them.
Absolutely.
I love the way God deals with me, right?
Yeah.
He knows me.
Yeah.
Very well. He knows me better than anybody else. And sometimes there have been a few situations that were big things. That it was like, hey, let me point at this flaw.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't have been where it was exposed, I never would have addressed it.
Come on now.
So some of those things that are really hard for us to deal with, for us to take about, if we sometimes just do some self-evaluation.
Yes.
It would be good if we could self-evaluate, but sometimes we've got to be exposed.
Absolutely.
And in those times, we've got to be intentional about sitting with those things. Like, what is it about? How did I get here?
Yeah, and especially another way that exposure happens is if the same thing keeps happening and you're the only common denominator. Because if the same situation keeps happening, and you still keep getting the same result, and you keep blaming because I don't know about you, but I came to that place. I've come to that place this year, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. It can't be them. It has to be something in me, because I'm the only common denominator in each and every one of these situations, and I keep finding myself in the exact same place.
Facts.
Exposure.
And when we see that, it is not okay for us to see these red flags, for us to see problems and not address them.
Absolutely.
We can't grow and be all that we're called to be if we don't address the messy parts of us. Like,
absolutely.
There are some things about ourselves that other people see before we see them.
So true.
But when we do see them, when we do get called out, I can speak for me. Being married is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But what it does is it puts somebody in your house at all times.
Ooh,
and
it's a mirror.
A mirror, yeah, for sure. I love my husband, and I love when he real nice to me.
Yeah.
I love when he don't acknowledge my stuff.
Yeah.
But those times when he calls me out on my stuff, it does not feel good.
Come on now.
But what I realize is that because he's so close to me, because he's right here, he sees me and he gonna call me out. And that's the beautiful thing and the hard thing about marriage, right? Because it's not going to happen where somebody sees the good in you all the time.
Absolutely.
And that's even when it comes to best friends. Like, best friends should always be able to be like, no, girl, you wrong.
Absolutely. I love you, But let's look at it this way.
Right. And if we can't be that transparent with the people in our lives, we need to check our circle too.
Absolutely.
Because I want to be able to say, hey, Brittany, you didn't handle that situation right.
Yeah, for sure.
But then,
because I love you.
But because I love you, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
And that's when we love people in our lives, we want to see them progress. We want to see them grow. And sometimes it's not easy to always address those things. But when they are addressed, then we have to look in the mirror and say, hey, maybe this is something about me that I got to fix.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, y'all, this is so good. So one thing, as we're just continuing this conversation, I just really feel like as we're talking, this is really helping somebody, y'all. I hope this is helping you all the way it's just helping me. So thank you for sharing. One thing I had to realize once I started getting exposed, right? And I started like, man, okay, I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with this. I had to come to the place, and God had to bring me to the place where it was like, you know what, Brittany, your mess doesn't define you. You know, yes, you're dealing with some stuff. Yes, you still got some rejection. And yes, you know, you still criticism for you. Sometimes it's still hard for you to receive. And, you know, all of those things. And I'm telling you, Ty, like, and y'all, because y'all my sisters too, it was just like I wanted to shut down on everything. And I think sometimes that's why we do run from sitting still. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's why we do just stay busy. And we do just keep helping everybody else because we don't want to deal with ourselves. Mm-hmm. But I say this all the time. The best thing I could have done in these last 5 years of my life was to start to really do the work on myself. And what I learned was that worth I was looking for my whole life in relationships, in sex, in porn, and all of those things I was looking for, the more I started to look within. And the more I started to love not just what I thought was good about me, but the good, the bad, and indifferent, saying that it takes all of this to make me the unique person I am. My esteem for myself began to rise. Like how I value myself began to rise. Like I was trying to manufacture that my whole life. Right. But when I began to do that work inside. And so how has that been for you, separating like, yes, I'm growing, and yes, we're unpacking some baggage, and yes, I got a mirror in my house, but understanding and I guess loving yourself enough to say, but even though I'm a work in progress, like that's not my identity.
Right. Right. So it's not our identity. It is sometimes our reality of things that we have to go through. But I think once we realize that, hey, I'm trying, I'm making progress, I'm getting to that point. One thing I love about God is his grace and his mercy towards us. And so we've got to be that for ourselves sometimes. We've got to give ourselves some grace. We've got to understand like, hey, no, I don't have it all figured out. I don't.
Yeah.
Probably never will.
Yeah.
But if I could just get better each and every day.
Absolutely.
If I'm making some kind of progress.
Yes.
That's solace for me. I think so often we try to we give ourselves these long lists of things that we got to do or accomplish. And
don't we?
Girl. We really be stressing ourselves out for no reason.
We be stressing ourselves out. And God probably be over there like, girl, what is you doing? My daughter.
Right. But grace is a real thing. And another thing that I've realized in my life is in my shortcomings, in the things that I failed at, it's made me a better person.
Absolutely.
For myself, but also for other people. Yes. We are absolutely called to be a blessing to other people.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes for us to go through these situations, this exposure, for us to understand someone else's situation.
Absolutely.
There are some things that if I hadn't went through myself, I probably would have been really judgmental.
Come on now.
To other people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's comforting for me to know what somebody else is going through and say, no, you're going to get through it.
And I know because I got through it.
And I know without a shadow of a doubt because I got through it. So it is also something really powerful about going through and coming out and being able to help somebody else and say, I know exactly how it feels.
Yes.
I've been through a lot of things that I did not want to go through, but I've overcome, and I'm on the other side. So now, as much as it's been a struggle for me to kind of deal with me being in ministry, if I'm being honest, I realize that there's a place there because I've experienced some stuff that I need to be able to tell other people there is another side to that.
Absolutely. And I just want to, because there may be somebody listening right now or watching, and you're in the middle of a space. You're like, Brittany Ty, I can't even see the other side of this. Let this be your confirmation. Let this be your encouragement that there is indeed another side. And you're going to make it through whatever you are in right now. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter how much pieces your heart feels like it's in. It doesn't matter if you can even see what's next. You can be rest assured that you are going to make it to the other side. You have to make it. Because there are people that need your story. They need your testimony. They need your witness. And I know some of us, sometimes it's like, well, somebody else can do it. No, can't nobody reach who you're going to reach. Can no one connect with people the way you're going to connect with people? So be encouraged. One thing I've learned is like God really doesn't waste anything.
He doesn't.
And a lot of times it doesn't make sense when we're going through it.
At all.
But in hindsight, you're like, oh, that was necessary.
Absolutely.
Oh, I needed that. And I thought I was going to die in it. But I needed that to help me become who I am today.
Absolutely. I felt like a period of my life I went through like this Job experience, right? Not to the extent of Job, God, please don't ever, but to the point where I lost so much. So I know what it's like to be a single mother and not know how it was that I was going to be a good mom or be able to provide. I know what it's like to lose a house, right? I know what it's like to lose a car. I know what it's like to experience loss. I know what it's like to lose a best friend, or I know what it's like to even be heartbroken. And so I went through all of these things, and I just want this to encourage someone who's listening, who's going through a tough time. Like, there is another side to it. Everything that I went through was absolutely hard. In the moment, I felt like I was going to just lose my mind. But I am so grateful that I serve a God who, when I don't know how I'm going to do it all, He does. When everything in my life looks messy, I have someone that I can pull on and say, hey, God, I don't know what to do, how to move, where to go, what's next for me. But I'm going to trust you.
That's it.
And that's why I am where I am now, because I trusted God. And not that things are perfect. They're not perfect, but I am nowhere close to where I was before.
Come on.
I am not dealing with some of the struggles and some of the stresses, financial struggles. I'm not dealing with those things anymore, but I had to go through them.
And if you would have gave up, you wouldn't have made it to your promise.
I would not have,
you wouldn't have made it to this place.
Never. And I know, and I want to speak to our audience, I know that it seems like there is no end. I know that it may look like you don't know how you're going to overcome, or how you're going to get out of the situation, or how you're going to pay that bill, or how you're going, just continue to show up.
That's it.
Continue to show up. Give it your best. Look, you can't quit.
That's it.
Even when it's hard and you feel like there is no hope, let me tell you that there is hope.
Absolutely.
There is another side to it. Keep going.
Absolutely.
You got to keep going, and you got to keep pressing, and you got to trust God with it all, because He will never leave or forsake us. That's real churchy, but that's real. He will always be there for you and with you. And even when you don't feel Him, know that He's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, you want the podcast back? Because she said this was her first podcast, y'all, but she done came on here and preached. I think one of the other things I would say is that we have more in us than we give ourselves credit.
Oh, wow. Yes.
And I want you to hear this, sis. I'm talking to you. There's so much more in you than what you give yourself credit. And I believe sometimes stuff got to happen. So that them gifts can be stirred up, baby. I've been calling it agitation, a holy agitation. Sometimes we wouldn't move and certain things would happen. We wouldn't step into certain things if God didn't allow certain things to happen. So I just want to say kudos to you. Yes, I'm talking to you that's listening to me right now. Kudos to you. Because, baby, you loaded. You loaded with gifts. You're loaded with grace. You're loaded with purpose. You're loaded with potential. Like, you have so much on the inside of you. And like Ty said, right now, it may not look like, oh, you like, woo child. Have you ever been in a season called woo child? The whole season is woo child. I don't even have words to describe it. I feel pressure on every side. I feel stretched on every side. But it's only because there is so much on the inside of you that has to get out. That has to be a blessing to somebody else. And so I just hope that somebody is encouraged today. Embrace what's messy.
You have to.
Because what I've learned is that somehow, some way, God is able to take a whole lot of mess and make something beautiful. How do I know? Because I look at my own life.
Same here.
And I get teared up. I was at a conference last night getting ready to speak, y'all. And I was sitting there like, trying to figure out who are they talking about. Because if they knew what I knew about me, if they even knew what God knew about me, but in spite of all of that, he still says, oh yeah, I call you. I've chosen you. I want you to speak for me. I want to use you. And I'm still a mess. I'm still deal with doubt. Like, went back to my room last night, bawled my eyes out, still wrestling with doubt, still wrestling with insecurities, still, all over the place. But somehow the mess that I am, I love what the Bible says that, he takes these earthly vessels, and he puts a treasure on the inside of it. He takes dirt and puts something invaluable on the inside of it. And that's who we are. And I believe he does that so that at the end of the day, we don't get credit. We're not able to take the glory. When people say, oh my God, Ty, that's so amazing. You're so amazing. You're able to say, girl, if you knew, but because of the grace and the glory of God. And I believe that's why you're stretched right now. That's why it feels like you don't have enough, and you necessarily may not feel like you're enough. Because God allows there to be a space that only he can feel, a space that only he can show up for. And it's truly his strength is made perfect in our weakness. Absolutely. And so that's not a place for us to run from. That's a place for us to lean into. I want you to lean into your limitation. Acknowledge, you know what? God made me limited on purpose. I'm going to lean into that. I'm going to lean into the fact that I can't do it all. I'm going to lean into the fact that sometimes I need to humble myself and ask for help. I'm going to lean into the fact that I can't be it all. Like, I'm going to lean into that, because when I lean into that, that gives God an opportunity and other people an opportunity, get this, to also show up for me.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love just the concept of how diamonds are formed.
Come on.
Right? Like, it takes dirty.
Yeah.
It's dirty, it's messy, it's hard, it's pressure. But at the end of the day, so shout out to all my diamonds. So shout out to all of my diamonds. You may not be sparkling yet, sis, but just keep on going through. Be pressed a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Got my Rihanna on.
Be pressed a little bit.
I mean, well, baby, this is pressed a lot big. Baby, there's about to be some carrots over here. I don't know about y'all, but there's about to be some carrots.
Bling.
Man, that's so good. I think that's a great place for us to, put a pin in this conversation, because what y'all think, y'all? I think we need to have Ty back for another episode. But I think that's such a beautiful landing place of what you just said. That everything is shaping you and making you. And you're going to be so grateful. Man, y'all, I'm seeing it. Like, I'm seeing your future. I'm seeing the lives that you're impacting. And you're going to be like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't give up. I'm so glad I was able to roll up my sleeves and say, okay, this is what we doing. Let's do it, because I'm worth it, right? My purpose is worth it. And the lives that are connected to me are worth it. So, Ty, you got anything else you want to share before?
Just to that point, like, you're worth it. And it's also one of those things that I know, we talk about sphere of influence, right?
Yeah.
We always do. It is a real thing.
It is.
Because we do not know how much people are watching us.
That's so true.
And I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about family. I'm talking about our kids. What you do matters.
Absolutely.
Not just for yourself, but for the people that are attached to you.
Yeah.
So if you can't do it for yourself, I know sometimes for me it was hard for me to do it for myself, but when I looked at my little girl,
come on now,
it gave me another reason to go on. So it may not be your daughter, it may be a cousin, it may be a friend, it may be a family member, but if you could, sometimes if it's hard for you to find the strength and the courage to go on for you, my encouragement is to look at the people who are around you.
Absolutely.
And maybe you can go a little further because you care about them a little more at the time when it's hard for you to love yourself the way you need to.
That was my testimony. Like with Saved in the City, like he had to give me something else, because when I first started on this journey, I wasn't enough motivation for myself.
Same here.
I've grown to become enough motivation for myself. But at first I was like, oh no, I got these ladies depending on me, you know, and I thought I was going to always be there and that would just be, but I've grown to that. So I totally 100% agree with Ty on that. Y'all, I feel good. I feel like this was good. I sense that this has landed well. Ty, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you. Get you some people in your life that pull you out your comfort zone. Okay?
Right.
Because I definitely pulled this woman,
baby,
out of her comfort zone. But I'm so grateful she trusts me, y'all. And I'm so grateful that y'all trust me to even take out time to listen to this podcast. So you all know, I tell you this each and every episode. And Ty's here so she can share it with you as well. I love you. We love you. And if you have not heard it today, we are so proud of you. Like, so proud of you. Everything you've overcome. Every challenge that you faced, how you keep showing up, like, that's just worthy of being celebrated. And so as we're ending this episode today, I just want to celebrate you. I want to let you know that there's some people that's in your corner you may not ever meet, but we're in your corner. Your purpose, your worth, all of it, your life, it matters. And there's something good that's going to be on the other side of this messiness, all right? And to the next episode, you all, be sure to email me, okay? Email us if you have questions, if you have topics that you would like for me to talk about, or, you know, any of that stuff. I want to hear from you. I want to hear how this platform is helping you to become, all right? So email me at podcast@BrittanyMorton.com. Again, that's podcast@BrittanyMorton.com. Okay, y'all. Love y'all. Can't wait till the next episode.
Love y'all.